Last week, I did a little survey on my Instagram stories asking who or what I should cover on this week's episode of WTF. Some of you who responded had some weird suggestions, such as this guy, who's not running, this guy, who you have no idea who he is, and I can guarantee you don't, or this event, which makes me pretty sure whoever suggested this never watched a single episode of WTF in their lives. Others had more sensible ideas, such as this guy, this woman, or these two here seen looking like Dumb and Dumber. However, we decided to ignore all of you and go with another Peronist, Sergio Massa. It's not that we don't care about your opinion, we do, but we're less than 10 days away from the June 12th deadline to formally register political alliances, and Sergio Massa still hasn't announced what he's planning to do. Now that we know that Cristina is running for VP, this is the only big mystery left unsolved before the primaries. Will he join forces with Alberto Fernandez and Cristina Kirchner, or will he go with the guys from Alternativa Federal and actually run against the Kirchneristas? We could all find out about his decision as soon as this week, and considering that he roughly has the support of 10% of the electorate, whoever he supports can tip the scale one way or the other in a runoff. For more on this, it's time for another episode of WTF, Race to the Casa Rosada. I can guarantee you that the Espert Milei fanboys are already fuming at my Dumb and Dumber comparison and are calling me a communist or whatever below. No hidden agenda here, guys. I actually think that they're both super fun people, but like you say here, me la dejaron picando. Also, I feel like Paige would actually get away with this much easier, but I can't because I don't have a catchphrase like, sorry about it, or call me. I need a catchphrase. Alright, since WTF was originally conceived as a segment for foreigners who have no understanding of local politics, let's start from the beginning. It all began with... not that beginning. Better. Like I said before, Sergio Massa matters a lot because he's the Peronist candidate with the most votes right after Cristina Kirchner. The problem is that Massa has historically been floating from one party or coalition to the other, which makes him somewhat unpredictable. He's kind of like the Severus Snape of Argentine politics. You never know exactly where his loyalty lies, and by the time you find out, it's probably too late. Massa rose to prominence in the early O's as head of the ANSES Social Security Agency when Eduardo Duhalde was president of Argentina, and stayed there until 2007 when he was elected mayor of Tigre, that place outside Buenos Aires you took your parents for a boat ride once, that time they visited, and that was pretty much it. You never came back. But 1 year after being elected, then President Cristina Kirchner asked him to be her chief of staff. Turns out they didn't quite like each other, so he quit after a year, went back to Tigre, and was re-elected mayor and stayed there until 2013. That's when things got interesting, because it's when he decided to go to war with Cristina and create the Frente Renovador party and run for Congress directly challenging Kirchnerismo. During the campaign, Massa said that it was time to get tough on crime and enlisted the help of Rudy Giuliani, who you may remember... That's not Rudy Giuliani. He is? Seriously? Respect. As I was saying, Massa enlisted the help of Rudy Giuliani, former New York mayor, current attorney of US President Donald Trump, and overall funny guy, but not in a haha way. See, they're buddies now. Here they are sharing a choripan together. Again, and again, and again. Massa emerged victorious in the midterms, positioning himself as the top contender for the presidency in 2015. Unfortunately for him, you know how things go in this country. 2 years later, against all odds, Macri ended up becoming president. Cristina was gone, and Massa was, well, no longer the great Peronista hope. But that didn't mean that he wasn't relevant enough. He still managed to get around 20% of the vote in the first round of the presidential elections, which was significant. In the first 2 years of his administration, Macri took him as a representative of the grown-up opposition and hung up with him. He took him to Davos, he met with Joe Biden, you know, the usual stuff that you do with your frenemies, like when Paige and I get together to watch Drag Race, which we actually do. In 2017, things soured and Massa tried to run for senator and lost, so he ended up joining the non-Kirchnerista Peronists of Alternativa Federal. See, that's him on the far left, on that photo that we've used here a million times. But then a month ago, Cristina announced that she was running for vice president, and Alberto Fernandez said they would be totally open to having Massa back, because why the hell not? And Massa was like, Which takes us to this week, when everyone really wants to know what Massa is going to do. Is he going to participate in the primary with Alternativa Federal as originally expected, or will he switch teams and go back to Cristina to run against her in the primaries as part of a bigger coalition against Macri? We still don't know, but rumor has it that he will be making an announcement this week, so stay alert. And yes, I feel like we finish every episode with "we'll have to see what happens," but the truth is, we will have to. It's not that we're lazy, we just can't predict what the hell is going on. Sorry about it. Yeah, No, I can't do that. Let's just leave that to Paige, guys. Guys, I need a catchphrase. Okay, let's try this again. Comment below or go on my Instagram to tell me what you think we should cover next. And seriously, let's keep it to politics. I know how much you love Selling Sunset on Netflix. I'm not gonna cover that. I actually watched the first episode of that show, and I have to say, it's an absolute train wreck. But you also can't stop watching. Seriously, just go and try it. Go, watch it for 5 minutes. I'll be here waiting for you. Go, watch it. You're welcome.